Welcome back to another virtual program with the Lafayette Public Library. My name is Miss Anna, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the difference between insects and bugs. Are they the same thing? Are they different? Who knows? But let's find out together. We tend to use the words bugs and insects to mean the same thing when we're talking about creepy, crawly things that we see outside, sometimes inside businesses like here at the library or at your house. Things like bees and spiders and roaches. We tend to call them the same thing, bugs and insects. We use them the same way. However, there is a difference between a true bug and an insect. So that's what we're going to be learning about today. Let's start with insects. Insects are part of an animal group called arthropods. Arthropods are cold-blooded, meaning that they don't regulate their own body temperature. Instead, they have a body temperature that is the same as the environment around them. Now, other arthropods include things like arachnids, which include spiders, myriapods, which include centipedes, and even crustaceans, which includes things like crawfish. So insects are not the same as these other arthropods, but they do fall under the same class of animals. So these are not insects. Let's talk about insects. Insects are a type of arthropod, and they're different from other arthropods because of their bodies. So insect bodies have three distinct parts: a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. And to show you what those things mean, I'm going to show you a picture of an ant. An ant is a very basic insect body type. So here is an ant, and let's talk about those parts of an insect. So all insects have a head, and the head includes the insect's mouth parts, their eyes, and two antennae on top of their head. Their body also includes a thorax. So the thorax is the middle part of their body, and their thorax is home to their legs. And normally insects have 3 pairs of legs, or 6 legs total. And if an insect has wings, their wings will also be located on the thorax. And the last body part of an insect is the abdomen. The abdomen on an insect includes inside its digestive system. So when you look at an insect, look for its head, thorax, and its abdomen. And if it has all 3 of those parts, it's probably an insect. Insects can also have 2 different types of eyes. The first kind of insect eye is the simple eye. In this photograph, the simple eye is located on top of the insect's head, and the simple eye is believed to only allow the insect to see light. So it helps them to determine if it's day or night, if they're in a bright room or a dark room, but it only allows them to determine light. So nothing else. It doesn't help them see anything else. The other type of insect eye is what I think of when I think of insect eyes. It's the compound eye. Now, compound eyes can contain up to 25,000 individual lenses, and these lenses allow an insect to pick up on visual information, including some colors. So, like I said, this is what I think of when I think of insect eyes. You can see in this picture all of the individual lenses on the face of the eye. It's pretty creepy. Ugh. Insects also have what's known as an exoskeleton, or a hard multi-layered shell on the outside of their body. Now, when you think of the human body, our skeletons are on the inside of us. It's underneath our skin. It's there. We don't see it, but we know it's there. But an insect has an exoskeleton, so their skeleton is on the outside of their body. So now that we know about insects, let's talk about bugs. Real, true bugs are a type of insect. So just like insects are a type of arthropod, bugs are a type of insect. And they are in a group called Hemiptera. So here are what some true bugs are. Now, true bugs are different from insects in that most bugs have a straw-shaped mouth or a stylet that allows them to sap juice from plants or blood from other animals. So that's how we're going to be able to tell the difference between an insect and a true bug, is that mouthpiece called a stylet. And true bugs include things like stink bugs, bed bugs, and cicadas. Ugh. All right, now some insects have the word bug in their name, like ladybugs and June bugs, but they're not actually bugs at all. They're beetles, which is just another type of insect. So even though it has bug in the name, doesn't mean it's a true bug. It doesn't have that stylet, so it doesn't count as a bug. Okay, so now that you know the difference between an insect and a bug, I want you to help me determine, is a honeybee an insect or a bug? So let's look at this diagram of a honeybee. The first thing we're going to look for are those 3 distinct body parts that every insect should have: head, thorax, and abdomen. Let's see. A honeybee has a head, and the head does contain the eyes, the mouth part, and the antenna, so we're good there. A honeybee also has the thorax, and the thorax contains those 3 pairs of legs, or 6 legs total, and a honeybee also has wings, so those are also found on the thorax. And it has an abdomen that has its digestive system inside. So far, so good, right? Do you remember the difference between an insect and a true bug? That mouth part, that stylet. So look at this honeybee. It does have this kind of pointy mouthpiece at its head, but that is not a stylet. That's actually called a proboscis, and a proboscis looks like the stylet we talked about on the bug. You're right, but it's not the same thing. The proboscis is part of the honeybee's mouth, almost like a tongue. Bees use this long, thin appendage for collecting water, nectar, and honey. So even though it looks like what we said a stylet should be, it's not a stylet, meaning the honeybee is an insect and not a true bug. There's also a couple of other cool things about a honeybee. Honeybees are my favorite insect, could you tell? Honeybees' legs serve different purposes. So their front legs are used to clean the bee's antenna. The middle legs are used to manipulate the wax in their beehive. And these hind legs back here, if you look closely at them, the hind legs they have stiff hairs on them that help the bee carry pollen. So these are known as pollen baskets. You can see those stiff hairs sticking out, and that's the bee's pollen baskets. And honeybees also have a stinger. Now, only female honeybees actually have a stinger. Only the females. The males do not have a stinger. And the stinger is part of the honeybee's body. So when a honeybee stings you, their stinger gets stuck inside you. And then when they pull away, the stinger stays and they fly away. And now part of their body has been pulled off, so they die. Honeybees actually die after they have stung someone or something. So try not to let a honeybee sting you, because we don't want honeybees to die. Honeybees are super cool, and they do a lot of great things for our environment. Now, one last cool thing to note about insects. Most insects, have what is known as bilateral symmetry, meaning that if you drew a line down the center of an insect's body, you would see that both sides of the body are perfectly the same. One side is a mirror image of the other. A perfect example of bilateral symmetry on an insect is a butterfly. Now, my line down the center of the butterfly's body isn't exactly perfect because this image is kind of skewed a little bit, but it serves the purpose. You can see that the line goes down the center of the body, and both sides of the butterfly are exactly the same. The wings look exactly the same. The patterns on the wings are pretty identical. There's an antenna on either side of the body. That is what bilateral symmetry means. All right, let's sum up what we've learned so that we can get on to the cool challenge part at the end of this video. To sum up what we've learned in today's video, insects are part of an animal group known as arthropods. And arthropods also include things like arachnids or spiders, myriapods like centipedes, and crustaceans like crawfish. But we learned more about insects. Now, insects have a lot of different subgroups just like arthropods, but the one we are focused on today is Hemiptera, or true bugs. So insects include things like ladybugs and ants and honeybees, while Hemiptera include things like cicadas. And the biggest difference between insects and true bugs are that mouthpiece known as the stylet, and the stylet allows the bug, the true bug, to sap juice and blood from other animals. Now, if you've watched this video, you probably picked up a Build an Insect Challenge kit from the library. So let's look at what's inside of your Build an Insect Challenge kit. You've got a tub of Play-Doh, you've got 2 pipe cleaners, and you've got some googly eyes in there. Mine are all at the bottom. And you've got this handy dandy checklist of everything your insect should have. So I want you to build your own insect at home. And it should have 2 antennae, a head, a thorax, abdomen, 6 legs, and it should also have bilateral symmetry, which remember means everything on one side of the insect's body should also be happening on the other side. All right. So use the supplies in your bag, build an insect, and then please share a photo of your insect with us in our Facebook comments for this post. And also, if you like bugs and insects as much as I do, please check out our children's nonfiction collection at any of our library branches. We've got tons and tons of books about bugs and insects. We've got specific ones like this one, The Hive Detectives, which is all about honeybees and the honeybees dying around the United States. This is one of my most favorite nonfiction books for children. It is wonderful. It is super cool. If you like bees or you want to like bees, just read this book. It's awesome. And one of my favorite books in the whole library system that I love to use to creep out my coworkers is this one, Biggest Bugs, Life Size. And the reason why this one is cool is because the photographs inside of this book are true to size. So if this bug on this page, it's actually this big in real life. So I like to go take it to my coworkers and I put it next to their hand. That spider, this is a giant huntsman spider. It's actually that big in real life. Can you imagine seeing a spider that big? I can't. And you can find that we have tons of copies of this book. You can find it in any of our regional libraries. You can check our online catalog and put it on hold. And as you can see behind me, there are lots of other cool books about insects and bugs. So please check those out. And thanks so much for joining us again on our virtual programs. We hope to see you back again next week. Bye.